Food, electricity, water, fuel, and everything else is getting increasingly expensive daily. Some days, keeping your head above water is just a struggle. Every day, the stress of money gets a little more intense. But it's always been that way, right? When I was growing up, my family lived in a caravan. My sister and I slept on air mattresses in a canvas annex attached to the side of the caravan. At one stage, we were forced to live in a national park. With no power, we had to drive to the closest town, which was 15 kilometres away, to collect water for cooking and bathing. We used to start an outdoor fire and put the water in a large pot. My mother would bathe us every few days to save on money. You may wonder which country we lived in and how we got this poor. It was the 1990s in Australia, the same Australia that the Prime Minister Bob Hawke had promised that no child would live in poverty. Looking back on those days, I don't regret growing up poor. It gave me an understanding of what I need to survive. We were lucky. We could have lived in another country in Southeast Asia, Africa, where things were considerably worse. In 2025, I intend on undertaking a financial roadmap, and the following things I'm planning to do. Number 1, pay yourself first. Number 2, reduce debt. 3, invest. And number 4, repeat. Pay yourself first. For every 10 coins thou placest in thy purse, take out for use but 9. Thy purse will start to fatten at once, and its increasing weight will feel good in thy hand and bring satisfaction to thy soul. Let's start at the beginning on how to build wealth, which is essential. Well, Mike, where does the start come from? Well, my friend, the start is when you get paid and how you distribute your money. I believe in the school of George S. Clason and his classical work, The Richest Man in Babylon. I first listened to Clason's audiobook on YouTube. Yes, it's free to listen to, and this book has made me a considerable amount of money in the last few years. I found this masterpiece by accident. It was written in 1926, and to be honest with you, it is more valuable today than what it's ever been. To save you some time, I'll summarise its main lessons. First, go online and open a new bank account, preferably a high interest one. The next step is when you get your next pay from work, deposit $10 into the account, then forget about it for a while. Each time you get paid, repeat, and by the act of compounding, you'll see the money increase every month. So for example, if you get paid $500 a week, take $50 and deposit it. In a month, you'll have $200, and in a year, that's $2,400. If you get 5% per annum in interest, that'll build up your savings faster. But I hear you say, I can't afford 10%. It's useless. Well, how about starting at 1%? $5 is a good start, isn't it? After a few months, increase it to 2%, then 3%, and eventually, you'll reach 10%. I'm at the point in my financial journey where I pay myself 40% of my salary into my savings fund. It requires sacrifice, but it's worth it. Number 2, reducing debt. There was a time when I was deeply in debt. Credit cards, bills, it felt like I was drowning. Eventually it got too much and I knew I had to do something about it. Once again, I'll pull on Clason's work. He recommends that you do a few things to reduce your debt. The first, take 20% of your salary and allocate it to bills. I've opened a second high interest account and I pay 20% of my salary into it. This simple act has allowed me to manage my debt. I am now debt-free. Any money left over each month is used for larger bills such as yearly insurance, car registration, and emergency bills such as health-related issues. But once again, I hear you say, I can't do that. I have so much debt, I can't pay it. But my question is to you, why not? Creditors are chasing for money. I'm dodging their calls. I'm in a bad position. Well, how about this? Next time the creditors call, answer them. and ask them to enter into a debt arrangement. Tell them that you'll take control of your finances and you want to join a payment plan. As I said before, take 20% of your income and start paying your bills. Companies would rather get some money than none at all. And many companies may even reduce the debt if you enter into an agreement with them in good faith and you pay them down. If you follow Klassen's advice, you too can be debt free. It works. I know it does because I've done it. Number 3, invest. Now this is the fun part, investing. I love it. You need to determine your own financial vehicle, whether it's stocks, properties, commodities, or whatever floats your boat really. With the money that you've been saving, it is time to decide how you'll make it work. But you say to me once again, I'm happy to let it sit in the bank collecting interest. Well, that's kind of good, but it's not ideal to be honest. You might be getting anywhere between 1 to 5% interest in the bank, which is nice, but the government takes its slice in taxes, so really you're not coming out ahead. If you include inflation, which is normally 2 to 3% per annum, well, that's cut your 5% down to 3%. Then when you take taxes on top of that, there's not much left. Personally, I like stocks and shares. I started out small and invested in a few mining startups. I got lucky with 2 of them and they turned my initial $500 investment into $3,000. I invested that money into high dividend companies that pay me roughly around about $2 per share, and I am receiving anywhere between $500 to $600 every 6 months in passive income. That money is then being reinvested into the company, therefore compounding the money. In 3 years, I've turned my initial investments of $3,000 into $8,000. I continue investing my savings fund into the shares to build my returns. My latest project is saving to purchase a house, which I should have in a few months. This will not be my forever house. It'll be my principal place of residence for a few years. Once I move into a new job or company, I will put this house up for rent, therefore giving me another source of passive income. Another strategy I am focusing on is once I buy this house, I will ask the bank to give me an offset account. This will allow me to take the money I am saving and pay it into that account, thereby reducing the interest portion of the mortgage. Since it's an offset, I can withdraw the extra money when it is needed, so I'll use this account as my new savings, and the money will be used to save up to purchase a second home. I plan to keep doing this repeatedly until I build up a property portfolio, which my stock portfolio will back up. I can hear you once again. I can't do that. But I have to ask again, why? If I can do it, anyone can do it. I'm not rich. I have sacrificed many things and I want to build wealth. You just have to suck it up and do it. That's what you have to do if you want to have a good life. And the final step, repeat. My key message is that you need the discipline to keep going once you start. Once you start saving 10%, you must continue building for your future. Take any spare money, pay increases, bonuses, family gifts, or any other cash and put it towards your investments. I've been doing this for 3 years and I'm surprised at how much cash flow I've developed in passive income. I never imagined that I'd be able to buy a house or have a stock portfolio, but I have. It is all because of reading books such as The Richest Man in Babylon, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and numerous other business books. Most financial books on how to make money are free, and you can watch them on YouTube. And the advice, it's priceless. It is worth the investment of time to improve your financial education. Thank you so much for watching. If you like my content, please like, comment, and subscribe. And let's keep walking in philosophy.